What is good, everybody? What is good is everybody's Big Game James with my girl, Star Gazer. It's the Big Star Show. Back from the little hiatus. Obviously, we had the bye week. A lot of things went on. The San Francisco Niners lost two in a row. That's a good thing. The Eagles lost one. So a lot of things happen out there in the NFC. But it's good to see you. How's everything going with you, Star?
It's going good, going great. I think we got good reports after the bye. We had no injury, and then Kyrie on the injury report, but that's no surprise. But other than that, I think everybody was rested well. Seemed like everybody's in good spirits. Everybody just needed like a reset, after the bye week. Or on the bye week, they needed a reset physically, but also mentally. Um, it seems like the team is in a good headspace, and they just taking one game at a time, as I think they should at this point. Just keep taking one game at a time. You beat the Chargers, so up next is the Rams. So we gotta
Yeah,
take it to them for
yeah,
sure.
definitely. And I've been, throwing it out there a lot that we got seven straight NFC games. So these games are going to be very important. The brunt of the schedule starts like November 30th. Where I think we got pretty possibly five playoff teams in a row. Dolphins, uh, Seahawks,
Hawks.
Buffalo, Philly,
Yep.
Detroit, and then always got Washington at the end. And you know what? They just always like to beat us at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying?
True.
They just love doing that. So
They
the
season be
seven,
over, but they
yeah,
try.
they season be over, but they love beating us and feeling like
They
that was their
sure
Super
do.
Bowl. You feel me?
They sure
So
do.
we got to keep our eye on that. But we got seven straight NFC games, like you said, and we
Mhm.
got the Rams coming up. Obviously, the Rams, we went back and forth with them. They're 3-4 right now. They went through a lot of changes since their Super Bowl victory a few years ago. Lost some players, gained some players, but obviously that defense that they had, the players that had Jalen Ramsey's, those guys are gone. They still have the Aaron Donald, they have the Matthew Stafford, they have the Cooper Cup, and they got the crazy rookie. Was it Paku? What's his name?
Puka Nakua.
Puka Nakua going nuts out there. You feel me? So they got some weapons, and we know about their passing game. But I want to talk about one topic before we jump into this Ram thing. And shout
Good.
out to everybody that's in the building: Regina, NC Cowboys. I think at 84, Sugar Daddy Williams, Fargo, D Block, Daniel was good with you. Boo Thang is in there too. Was good with everybody in there. But me, I've been watching Twitter. You've been watching Twitter, and I just want to get your quick opinion on this Micah Parsons thing. We won't stay long on it, but I voiced my opinion about it a little bit yesterday.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to hate on him or anything like that. You got your podcast, but I just feel like, from my perspective, when he was talking about the Eagles, I feel like, okay, yeah, you can tell them they're good. Yeah, you can tell the team, yeah, that's a good team. But I just kept on hearing special at the end, special at the end. It's okay to say that team is good. It's okay to say Jalen Good, it hurts pretty. That's a good player. Like I would say that if somebody was asking me, yeah, they got a good squad. AJ Brown, I would say that. But me saying special at the end, I'm
Yeah.
not calling no team special at the end. Nothing they doing is special because I play against them. So I ain't saying nothing they doing is special. I would definitely say they got some damn good players and it's gonna be a tough game. But I'm
Yeah.
not saying nothing special. And I
Yeah.
heard special too many times coming out of there. And I just want to get your thoughts on, Micah Parsons with his podcast and what your kind of just thoughts in a whole about this.
Yeah. Initially when I saw it, it did rub me the wrong way. Because I'm all for, like giving respect to your opponent. And you shouldn't overlook anybody. I mean, this is the NFL. Whether a team is 0-5 or 5-0, I mean, this is still an NFL team, and we see especially this year. I mean, you can get got. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be dominated, and then like the 49ers, you're on a 2-game losing streak. Could be a 3-game losing streak come Sunday because they're not going to have Brock Purdy. Now Sam Darnold, he's with this guy Shanahan, so maybe he can create magic, and then maybe they push Brock Purdy off a cliff. But I definitely think it's just like we say, any given Sunday. But anyway, with Micah, it did rub me the wrong way. But I had put a Twitter poll out because I was like, I don't want to seem like I'm overreacting. So I'm like,
Right.
should we? Is it okay for him to say, And I think the biggest issue with me was not necessarily, um, I mean, he's going on Hall of Fame, all this stuff. He was just really fluffing them up. But then I saw another clip where he was saying like the Eagles, like they should be feared. They're a team to be feared, and all of this type of stuff. And I'm like, that's not what you want to say. Now, I think what he meant was respected. They're a team that should be respected. But when you say a word like fear like that, the way other people are not going to perceive it that way. And so I definitely did not. I think Michael, he was trying to show respect, and I think on his podcast, he's trying to be unbiased. He wants to show that, like, hey, I'm not just about to up here be a homer. We the Dallas Cowboys, we're the best thing in the world. Everybody else sucks, right? He doesn't want to be like that. But I think like when he's still learning. Michael's young, and that's one thing we do forget. Like, yes, he's a grown man. He has kids, stuff like that, but he's also very young in life, in the mind. So I think a lot of times, and I said this about the Gen Z generation. Big, you got kids, so like the Gen Zers, they just see the world and things a lot differently. When he explained, all of like why he's against the media, the big media, and how they portray players and what they say, you really got a strong sense of he wants justice, he wants equality. He doesn't want it to where, oh, you big enough. The Eagles get all these excuses, but when we make a mistake, we don't even deserve to be on the field. We're horrible. We're the worst team ever. We're frauds. Right? They don't say nothing. They don't say that about anybody else. The Lions, they was better than us, but according to everybody else, and they just got mollywopped by the Ravens. But no one's talking about how the Lions just got destroyed by the Ravens. They're all talking about, oh, the Ravens are such a good team and all of this type of stuff. So he just wants fair and unbiased stuff. And so I think what Micah has to
But
learn.
is that but I don't mean to cut you off, but is that really gonna happen, Star? You see what I'm saying? Like the things that he's wishing. You're on Twitter, you're on the internet. The internet changes every 2 seconds. The internet will love you 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes the internet will spit you right back out. So when he's crying for equality, and I get that, that's not gonna happen out here in this football game, and it's never gonna happen with these Dallas Cowboys. As long as me and you are alive, Star, this hate will always be here. I've been loving these Cowboys since the '70s. They've been hating us since then. I don't know where it's all of a sudden it's going to change because you're jumping on social media and said that's not fair. Stop hating on us and stop doing this. That's the way it is. So it's like why are we still talking about that? Because it doesn't matter. Whatever the Lions got smashed, we're not in comparison with them. And so I just don't listen to nobody because they're always going to dog Dallas. We're always going to, the refs, we're going to have to fight against refs. We're going to have to fight against fans. We're going to have to fight against teams. That's just the way it is. So when I'm hearing him, Star, I'm feeling what you're saying, especially with the generation. But it's like, I feel like you're losing, just from me, I feel like you're losing a little bit of that edge, that little bit of that edge that he had when he came in talking on the podcast, because I don't know any other Cowboys that had a podcast like him since I've been watching. He's the only guy that's had a podcast. Nobody else has had a podcast. So, and you're our defensive guy, like you're the guy. And all I hear is kumbaya. I hear kumbaya every time kumbaya. Don't get mad at that player. Don't talk about him. Be nice to him. Don't say, I get that, but we're playing football, dog. I mean, you're supposed to have some beefs.
You're supposed to have some, right. And I think, and the thing is, now I was talking yesterday, Taisha Morrison. She did make me think differently about it in a sense of if Micah, one, we know that the players do, especially in Dallas Cowboys land, they do a lot of would you say coach speak or professional speak, right? They do a lot of stuff. Doesn't mean they necessarily mean it, but it's just like they just portray themselves as, oh, the team could be terrible, but they're never gonna say that. Oh, he's great, quarterback's great. The coaches do it, the players do it. They, have to have respect for everybody, even though the player may not be good. You know what I'm saying? So, or the coach may not be good. So I think in a sense, some of the stuff, Coach B, I do get what you're saying, as well as the new generation. The thing is, your guys are the older generation. The new generation just does not see things like the older generation, so they don't really care. They are all about, I don't care about what the past generation was. If y'all think what I'm saying is dumb or whatever, like, I'm gonna say how I feel. And I think it's good in the sense of standing up for what's right, standing up for justice. But I think I said the one issue with Gen Zers is that they don't take in wisdom very well, because they think everything before them is stupid, 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 stupid. That's why you see who cares about rivals? No one cares about rivals. No one cares about this. All of this stuff. But it's like, Micah, you do have to know that your history. You do have to take wisdom from people ahead of you. You can't just call everything that happened stupid, dumb. That. Why would we believe that? Why would we do that? So I think with Micah, he's going to learn. He's going to grow and really realize that, hey, there are some things that you should say, but you also shouldn't say, because of one, how people perceive it, whether it be the fans, some people in his own locker room. Now, I'm hoping that at this point, everybody loves, respects Micah. Obviously, Micah doing this podcast has not affected his play. I mean, he's top of the league. You know what I'm saying? In every advanced pass rush metric, not sacks, but every advanced pass rush metric, he's number one. So I just think that Michael is going to learn to temper his words on the podcast, and I think that just comes with like experience. I think it just comes with experience and just maturity. Because there's a lot of things you can say, Micah, but should you say everything? Right? You can say whatever you want, but should you say it? And I think, that's where Micah is still learning. I want to be unbiased. Okay, but you can be unbiased without sounding like you just salivating over the team. I was like,
Right.
well, how he was bigging up. I said on Twitter, it's like, it sounded like Michael, like, what you want?
Do you want to go play for him?
Right,
I mean, the way you was talking, like,
make a code out of it, like you just act like that. It was too much for me.
It was too much for me too. I'm not with that. I'm gonna just tell you right now, I'm not with none of that.
Yeah,
I'm not with none of that, because I played the game, I coached game, and I will definitely give a healthy respect to any team before we play them. But I'm never gonna sit there and tell them that they're special. Right. I'm not gonna say not one thing about them is special. I will say, man, they got a good squad, they got a good player. I will break down their players, watch out for them. But guess what? We got good players too. This is what we're going to do. But you're never going to hear me call them special. And just like you said, not going to sit there and say fear. Yeah, they're to be feared. When you see him, he's to be feared. What? Yeah. If I'm saying that, what is my team thinking?
That's what, yeah.
You feel me? If the coach is saying fear, and special, special, my players are going to be like, well, damn, do we got a chance? And here's another thing. If they start beating us, will you automatically think, well, they're already special, they got a great team, so as soon as they get a lead on us, will you start maybe giving up or maybe not go as hard because you in your mind say they're better than us?
Yeah. And one thing I will say too, this is why I talk about perception. It may, the players in the locker room may not even think nothing of it. But watch, you think Nick Sirianni is not going to pull?
They loving it. Yes.
And then play that for them right before they go on the field. You see, that's what I'm saying. You see, like when D-Law said we the best in the world, then Shanahan went and played it. That you have to watch the stuff that you say, because you may be like, oh, everything's cool. I love Darius Slay. I love Bradbury. I love Jason Kills. I love all these people, right? But your words are being used to fuel,
used against you,
and dislike, right, in the Eagles team. So when they play you, they're going to hear that audio and they're going to be on a totally different level. You are allowing people to take what you say and fuel their hatred and stuff against you, even us as the fans. You don't think the Lord Bronsons and the Philly and Joe, they going to clip that?
They already did. They already clipped it. They clipped it the day he said it.
Now we have to deal with that. So it's like, why you gotta watch the word. You cannot be a person that I don't give an F because you're a leader. You can't say I don't give it. I'm gonna say what I want. You cannot do that because you're a leader. See that's the issue with Mike, and I think he's going to learn in time. He'll learn and mature and grow up. But it's like, yeah, you may feel something, but you cannot say everything you want out loud because it you can put fuel to a fire. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think he did. Now, hopefully, we still once we face the Eagles, the literally next Sunday. I'm hoping we can still come out guns a blazing, but even so, you just gave them fuel. Perfect. Declaring people. I had Mike McCarthy, people who are not in the Hall of Fame, he'll say a Hall of Fame, he's a Hall of Fame type, or he's Hall of Fame esque, but he doesn't declare. I mean, you're not in Canton until you're in Canton, so you can't just, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Yeah. How we gonna, it felt like he was almost saying, how are we going to beat these guys? They got this guy, they got this guy, they got that guy, they got this guy, and not even forget that they still got this guy and they got that guy. They're to be feared. They're special. They're just a special team. Now, if you're doing Jedi mind tricks, I don't know. In my heart, I'm not buying Jedi mind tricks. Maybe you are. And if you are, because I'm not in your brain, but I'm not buying the Jedi mind tricks, I believe you actually really feel those things about that team. Just me. Just my opinion. So, but let's jump into this game. That was our quick Micah Parsons talk. Hopefully you get better, Micah. I'm not hating on you. Like I said, I love your play. I still feel like you need to still take it to another level because I'm watching Myles Garrett over there in Cleveland take his game to a whole different level and winning games for that guy, for that team on defense by himself. So
that's true. That is
so true. I can sit there and say, Micah, you want to be the best in the league. That's what Micah said. I want to be the best in the league. Well, right now you got a guy over there that's playing like an animal. You need to match that. That's all I'm saying. We need more because we're 4-2, but it ain't a great 4-2 to me. And we got a tough stretch getting ready to come. So I need to see more from our leader. That's just my opinion. But let's jump right into it, Star. Let's get into some of your keys to the game. I love your keys to the game. There we go. Where we at? Let me pull it up. There it is. All right. So Star always has these great keys to the game. She's got those great graphics. I got to pull it up. I was like, hey Star, before we do the show, can you please do that, Star, your stars? Because they're just so good. The graphics are just so good. I can't do any of this, y'all. I'm old school. I don't do it. Star is the one. So when you see all that great stuff, you know it's not big game. It's Star. So Star's key to the victories. Let's start with the first one. I'm gonna bounce off this as soon as you say it. First one. What's the first one for, Star?
So first one I said is sack Stafford. I said 2+ times. I went through, looked at all of their losses. And all of their losses, Stafford was sacked at least 2+ times. He's definitely a guy. You can see his QBR pass rating. When he's under pressure, he's terrible. I mean, I don't know. I do good bits words, but the best thing I can say, he does not look good at all. And so I definitely think all day you want to get as much pressure on Stafford as possible. I originally had 4+ sacks, but then I saw a team, I think maybe not one of the teams that beat them, they only sacked them like 2 times. So I'm like, as long as you're getting pressure on Stafford, you should be able to get him off his key. He's not going to play well. He's going to throw picks. We obviously know even the year they won a Super Bowl, he led the league in picks. He's just not. He's one of those quarterbacks. He's not great under pressure. And unfortunately for him, his offensive line is not good. It hasn't been good since Whitworth retired. So the offensive line is terrible. And then you have somebody like Sean McVay, who used to run the air out of the ball, but he doesn't really run the ball that much. He's got Puka Nacua and he's got Cooper Kupp, and he wants to throw that ball all over the field. And when he got Matthew Stafford, who is known as a gunslinger, he completely changed his offense. So I think we're gonna have and then they traded Kyron Williams, who was next in line, is now on IR. So they're playing with like Daryl Williams or whatever. I don't know.
Daryl Henderson, and I think they got another guy.
Some other guy. So they're not going to run the ball that much. They're coming in here to pass the ball. And so that's just Sean McVay. I mean, is it smart? No. I mean, you look at our team, it's not smart to just pass the ball on this defense all day long. But I think Sean McVay, he's just a guy, he's going to stay true to his scheme. He's gonna hope that Puka and Cooper Cup can give us fits. So that's why I say you definitely just want to, in order to prevent him from getting the ball to those guys who are pretty dynamic, you want to be just like we were on Justin Herbert. You want to be on Stafford all night long. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And just right here in this stat right here showing passer rating under pressure this season, 58.8. So that tells you right there, just bouncing off what you said, pressure him and get pressure on him, and he's going to make mistakes. And then going to right here, what we were talking about, where you were talking about with Matthew Stafford as a whole. If you look on here, I got his career versus Dallas, 6 games, right? Bouncing off what you said, Star, 16 sacks against him. They're averaging over 2 sacks a game. So to your point of getting at least 2 sacks against him, Cowboys are averaging 2 sacks a game with him. And if you look at these stats right here against the Cowboys, which I feel like he's going to throw the ball everywhere as well. Look at the numbers. He's averaging in 6 games 321 passing yards a game.
Yeah.
A game. And he's averaging 41.8 attempts a game. Yeah. That's telling you right there what they're going to do with us. And you know they got Cooper Kupp. You know they see Trevin Diggs is out, right? Yep. They know they see Trevin Diggs is out. They're probably thinking, hey, we can attack Gilmore. Let's see what's up with this rookie. They're going to move Kupp around. They're going to move Nakua around. I feel like those guys are going to get yards, in my opinion. Looking at your second one, keeping Nakua under 100 yards, I'm going to let you speak on that. But I feel like they're probably going to get their yards, but I just feel like we have more. Stafford's going to throw those interceptions. I think he's going to throw those interceptions, and they'll start in that second half, especially when we get pressure on him. When he gets pressure, just like you said, he starts throwing them picks. So that's the biggest thing. But talk about here your second one about Nakua.
Nakua, I mean, this is a kid that's really, really been going off. I mean, he's putting up a lot of yards. And in their 3 wins, he's like 140, 150. I don't think he's reached the 200 yards mark yet, but this kid is nice. And so I know he's going to get his yards. I think Kupp's going to get his yards. But if you can keep both of them to 70, maybe both of them collectively get 100 yards, 140, yards collectively, that would be fine. But I think, if Puka is getting that many yards on us, one, I would have to think that we're not pressuring Stafford. We're not. If Puka gets over 100 yards by himself, to me that means that either our pressure, if we're not getting to him, we're not putting enough pressure on him, we're not sacking him enough, because Puka should not be able to get that many yards if we're getting to Stafford like we're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think that because they are going to test. They are going to test all of our corners. They're going to test Gilly. They're going to test Deron Bland. Deron Bland, he, for the first time, he put up some sus film, because they saw him, even though he didn't get got because Herbert didn't make those throws. But they put it on film. They see, he struggled with the double move. You've got 2 elite route runners in Cooper Kupp. And, I won't put the crown on Puka, say elite, but you've got an elite. I can say Cooper Kupp is elite.
Right, so, and that quickness is elite.
Right, you have elite quickness, right, with Cooper Kupp, elite route running, and then you have this kid who's up and coming. He's basically like a mini Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have these 2 guys, they're going to test the corners. And they're going to test us on the double moves and all that type of stuff. So I'm really interested to see how Dan Quinn chooses to adjust, who he's going to say, okay, I'm putting you, because they tend to put Bland out there on the island, and they push the safety toward Gilly.
That's smart, though.
What'd you say?
I said that's smart in my opinion, because Gilly don't got that speed no more. And I don't want to see Gilly on no damn Cooper Kupp at all. I don't want to see Gilly on Cooper Kupp, because that's gonna be bad business.
Right, and if y'all remember as well last year, Cooper Kupp gave Diggs a little issue.
Yeah, he did.
So,
He's gonna be in that slot too.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to see the matchups that Dan Quinn does, and how he plans to draft up the pressure, because, like I said, these guys, they get open. they get open. So you really have to get Stafford off of his mark if you want to have a chance to succeed. Because if not, and the Rams, I think shout out to Jay Tug. I think he said they run, or no, it was a Koye that like he's like they run crossers all day long. So
Yeah, that's all they do.
cover one, cover three, be a crossing route, they do it all day long. So if you don't have the pressure on them, they're gonna have a field day. So I mean, just to be honest, because I think I don't see our corners. If Stafford has time, our corners are not going to shut them down. Sure, they're gonna have a couple of pass deflections and stuff like that, but I think these guys are if they have all day, they are going to take advantage of it. That's just how I feel. So
I will totally agree with you with that. Like I said, pressure is going to be of essence, shutting down any kind of run game they try to do. But like you said, crossing routes, quick passes, they'll try to get probably Stafford the ball out quick because they know our pass rush. So they're probably going to try to get the ball out quick. And like I said, crossers, quick outs, digs, comebacks, those type of things where they can get the ball in space and be able to yards after catch, because I know McVay likes doing that with his receivers. So Cowboys really front line. The DeMarcus Lawrences, the Dorrance Armstrong Jr.'s, the Micah Parsons, the Dante Fowler Jr.'s, Sam Williams. I know you said you weren't released out the cage. Well, release this, get out the cage, start listening, get out the cage, because we ain't heard nothing but Sam Williams been a ghost this year. So we need a lot more from him. But let's talk about on our side, because we struggled last week against those Chargers, giving up 5 sacks. We haven't been the greatest in the run game. But let's talk about your third one. It's going to kind of go hand in hand with your third and fourth. Allow 1 sack or less, and we need to get at least 100 rushing yards. Talk about that right quick for me.
Yeah, I think definitely. So I said allow 1 sack or less because their secondary is not great, right? Now, these are very young guys. If you look up their secondary, you're going to be like, who are these guys? Mm-hmm. So their secondary is definitely not anybody elite. Our wide receivers can take this secondary's lunch. But in order for that to happen, we have to give Dak time. Now, Dak obviously is pretty good against the blitz and stuff like that and pressure. But as well, if we want Dak to have his time to find the open guy, find the right guy, attack the matchups, we need to keep Dak upright. I know Dak put on the cape last week. Versus the Chargers and just running all over the place like a madman. And that's great. And I think they're going to start, from hearing the interviews and stuff, they are going to implement Dak's legs a little bit more into the game plan because it is an extra weapon when you have a quarterback that is not a statue. It does help you, especially in improvisation. So we are going to put that in. We're going to mix that into the offense. But we want our wide receivers can have a big, big day against this secondary. But that's not going to happen if Dak, in the last 3 weeks, Dak has been sacked 11 times. So, and granted, we've won games. We've also lost a game. So, we really need to start protecting Dak because we also don't want Dak taking that many sacks because injuries, right? So, we want to be able to, and we know everybody plays us lights out and stuff like that. So we definitely want to be able to protect that. And that comes from this offensive line. They've got to play better. They've got to play better because the starting offensive line, they have not looked so good. When it comes to 100 rushing yards, hopefully we found out. Apparently they've been announcing it, but I didn't even know. Our running back.
Yeah, seen that.
Our running back coach and run game coordinator has been out this entire first 6 weeks. I'm like, that wouldn't make sense on why our run game looks weird, why our offensive linemen don't look like they want the run scheme, the run block. It's a lot of confusion that's been going on, it seems like. So hopefully they've been able to work on that for the past 2 weeks. And because we remember Tony Pollard was a huge reason last year why we won, right? Now we have backs, we have Rico, we have Hunter, we have Deuce, right? I hadn't even brought up Deuce because it's like people just forgot about him now, but hopefully with the running backs coach back, he knows how to use his guys and who we should use in certain situations and the packages and stuff. So I think that's why I said collectively. It's not that Tony has to go off for 100 yards, but I think collectively, with our packages and our different running backs, hopefully we can just get these guys going in special situations to carry us on to victory.
Yeah, I mean, I just listen to you with that aspect of it. I mean, I definitely feel you with the run game. I keep hearing about Rico Dowdell possibly being on a pitch count, which that's concerning, and that's why I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, then they really do need to look for a running back. I know, obviously, some people in the chat have mentioned Derrick Henry. Dalvin Cook is upset over there in New York. He's not getting any time. I don't know if the Cowboys actually even do anything, but if Rico's on a pitch count, then yes, they need running back help because Tony Pollard can't do this by himself. Tony Pollard is not the guy running up the middle. It's not
Nope, nope, nope.
it's not creative, and I don't like when they force him up the middle. The
Yeah.
running splits are not good. It's too much jumbled. It's just jumbled.
Not
It's
working.
right. It's just not. It's just not working. And the zone running scheme that we've been talking about, I haven't been able to see any kind of pitch outs. I see it's going up the middle. They need to figure that out. But like you said, the running back coach, that's going to be huge because I heard that when I saw that 2-star, I was like, what? I didn't even know that either. So
Nobody.
nobody did. They kept that on the hush hush for real, for real. So hopefully that's a good change for us. But the Mike Solari thing, I don't know about this offensive line thing with Mike Solari. We've been struggling. I know Philbin, they got rid of him, but they were okay. They weren't great with Philbin in my opinion, but they were okay.
Yeah.
But they got to figure this out on the offensive line. Agreeing with you, we got to keep Dak upright.
Yeah.
Like you said, I love how he was scrambling, put the team on his back in that last game. He put the team on his back in that last game.
Yeah.
But we need balance. I don't want to have to feel like Dak has to win every game for us. That's
Yeah.
not what I want. Okay. Just like you said, Star, if it's not Tony Pollard getting 100, we got to get over 100 collectively.
Collectively. Yeah. So
Collectively as a team, we need to get over 100 yards. And you know what you need to do early, Dallas Cowboys? Get CeeDee Lamb involved early.
right.
When you played the Chargers, they jumped on you 7-0. You came right down the field and gave it to CeeDee Lamb. What happened? We scored a touchdown. You fed him. We went right down and scored.
Yep.
I feel like we got to highlight him now. Stop
Yep.
playing the games. Highlight this man early and often. Get him where he's feeling good. We all know Dez Bryant, all those guys. Michael Irvin, they wanted the ball early. T.O. when he was over here, because when they got the ball early, they were a different animal. They were a different player. You feel me, Star?
Yeah, and it opens up. It opens up for our other players. It opens up for Brandon Cooks to eat and Gallup and stuff like that. So hopefully we see Jalen Tolbert in this game.
Nah, you was jumping right in my you jumped right in my brain because I said, can we please see Jalen Tolbert? Whenever he's had the ball, Star, he's made plays.
He catches everything, and I'm like, that's the type of guy that Dak needs on the field. Someone he can trust. He needs guys that he can trust. And Michael Gallup, you have not proven yourself to be trustworthy. You're very inconsistent, and that's the problem. A quarterback, if I don't know today you're gonna be good, but next game you're gonna be trash, like that's not the consistency that Mike and everybody's speaking of. We need consistency. We need continuity. We need consistency. Michael Gallup, how are we gonna be consistent when you got inconsistent players on the field? So we definitely need to let Jalen Tolbert get some burn. I see you at Show Terrence Steele. He's doing terrible this year, but the injury, hope. But honestly, we need him to play a little better because we just gave you a huge bag of cash, man. You 64th in the league, PFF grade 50.3. That is just not going to cut it. Not going to cut it. Like, you got to play better. And when it comes to the running, the scheme that we're running a lot of power scheme, a lot of Zach Martin pulling, becoming a lead blocker, Tyler Smith pulling. And what's happening is that your interior, they're not, Tyler Biadasz and stuff, they're not that great on down blocks. Still, they're losing at the point of attack when it comes to down blocks. But I did get a little nugget that the reason why we've kind of been struggling these past 3 weeks is also because teams have been giving us a lot of unscouted looks, and apparently they've been stunting the crap out of us. And we all know we stunt. Everybody know Dallas Cowboys stunt because when you stunt, it confuses the offensive line. And so I said, oh, I didn't even think about that. So I think that's also a thing. So I think, coaches got to figure it out because you got to figure out how can we counter these stunts? How can we make things simpler? We know our offensive line was hurt as well. Biotis, Martin, Smith. So I think we're just trying to get everybody just hopefully this bye week helped everybody get healthier so that we can actually implement the scheme and stuff like that. We can execute the scheme properly, and we can, like I said, learn how to pick up those stunts and stuff like that. Because right now they've been struggling.
Well, I'll tell you right now, they just had a stat on Zach Martin too. He's given up some of the most pressures he's had in the last 8 years. We're just not a physical offensive line, and we haven't been a physical offensive line in a very long time, in my opinion. We just haven't. We had a pretty good run game last year, but we still weren't physical because when teams decide to get real physical with us, we wilter. So I think that's what, we played against the Cardinals. They got physical with us. We played even with the Chargers. They were getting physical. We weren't running the ball on them. They were physical. And the Chargers didn't have nobody in the interior like that. Boza was on one leg. Khalil Mack only had like really one sack, but that whole defensive front gave our offensive line fits.
They were tearing us up. They were tearing us up. And what you said about Zach Martin, but I guess we'll attribute to aging, but as well as health. So hopefully these guys have gotten a little bit healthier. Y'all see Zach Martin, he's ranked 7. So that's why I keep trying to tell people Zach Martin is still great, but he is aging. And when we're talking about physicality, a lot of these guys are, Nate Newton said it, they are struggling. Biotis, Martin this year. Besides, not Tyler Smith, because he's a young bull, but the older guys, as well as Biotis, which
Tyron Smith too, even though he's done admirably, he still has missed and he's hurt again. And I don't mean to cut you off, but you know what I heard people say, man, Tyron Smith, he's doing really good. He's having one of his best. Yeah, but you know what? It don't matter if you ain't available. It don't matter if you're doing all good if you ain't available week to week. And you can never depend on him week to week. And what happens if you're in a big game, he played great 2 games, but then all of a sudden he got a knee injury and he's out 3. That's the problem. We love Sean Lee too. Sean Lee was great. But what was the problem with Sean Lee? He was never available. So it didn't matter how great Sean Lee when you're never on the field. And that's the thing with Tyron Smith. And before we kind of get out of here, I just want to voice my frustration about this. I'm not hating on you, Tyron Smith, but please, Dallas Cowboys, Tyron Smith, this needs to be the last year. This needs to be the last year of Tyron Smith. The man can barely walk. Have you seen him try to bend over? He can't do it. He can't do it. He is, you know why he's still good? Because he's so damn strong. If he gets his hands on you, you can't move. But the problem is when he goes against speed rushers, they give him problems. Yep. That's why you see he can't bend down. So they get up underneath him. He can't do what he used to do. Tyron Smith, this got to be your last year, dog. Dallas Cowboys, stop this madness with Tyron Smith, and it got to be. This got to be done. This is my last.
Because I do.
I'm over it.
I said this last year, Big. I think this line needs to. After this year, we need to go younger and
yeah, you need to rebuild it.
We've got to go young. I know we want to hold on to Zach until he just completely regrets, but I just don't think that's smart. It's like, let's go younger. Even we could have had Tyron and Zach here on reserve, but let the young guys play. And then if the young guys get hurt, then let the Hall of Famers come off the bench. But we just can't do that in Dallas.
Because it's
and all this stuff. But I'm telling you, we had awesome renters out there. TJ Bass, I'll say one thing. Well, we had 3 backups with Hoffman, Chumadoga, and Bass. That was versus the Cards. That was our best day on the ground. And they was able to move all these switch blocks and all this stuff that Solari's doing with this power run scheme. They was able to do it. Now, was they as good as pass blocking than our starters? No. But they were serviceable. Like I said, Dak, during the first 3 weeks of the season, only got sacked 3 times. We started getting healthier. He sacked 11 times. So, I don't know, but we're going to have to figure, after this year, we're going to have to figure something out. Because I do think, it's just coming with young guys on old guys. You're going to get got. Even last year, sometimes Martin, he's just slower. You know what I'm saying? It's not his fault. It's not that he doesn't want to. But you can see defensive tackles literally before Martin can even get out of his stance. They're already around him to the backfield. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to hate on these guys. I know
It
I
ain't. It's not no hate, Star. It's the truth. What it is the truth. And this offensive line is not what it used to be. We can't act like it is. It's not the Great Wall of China like it used to be. These guys are old and broke up. The only guy that we really have right now, Terrence Steele, I know he's coming back from injury, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. The only guy we have really right now is the Tyler Smith. Zach Martin, he's still a dog, but he's not the dog that he used to be. And he's struggling now. He's going through struggles now, and when Tyler Biadasz is not healthy, he struggles. So, and kind of ending it, Star, the offensive line the offense as a whole got to continue to be better, but it starts with the front. If that offensive line does not get better, we're going to be in trouble. That's just my opinion.
We're going to be in a world of trouble because if we can't run the ball,
we're going to be in trouble if we can't run the ball.
Good luck in playoffs. Like, we may make it to playoffs, but good luck if you cannot run the ball.
It's going to be the same damn thing. You know it.
Yep.
So, hey, I really appreciate you. The big Star show. Star came in there giving her great expertise like she does. I love your 4 stars. I'm going to start doing like the 4-star program. Like when we do it, like there's our 4-star thing. I love how you break that down because every time we do a show, Star, and you have your keys, I watch the game and then I go back to your keys and I'm like, "Ooh, Star said that." I remember she said that in the key. She said this guy can't get 100 yards because I remember when you said about Zach Wilson and I think I tweeted you and you was like, "Keep Zach Wilson under 35 yards." I'm like, "Wouldn't you know this dude got like 40-something yards rushing, already scrambled out the pocket and he was hurting us with those runs?" I was like, "See, Star said something about that and wasn't a lot of people talking about that. So pay attention." So one last thing, go hit. Let me back out of this right here. See that at the name? See that name right there? Go subscribe. Go hit that subscribe button either on Twitter, YouTube, all platforms. I'm gonna let you give all your platforms before we head off, but please go make sure this is a follow because she know her football.
Thank you, Big. Thank you. Yes, guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Stargazer Sports, as it's written down there on the screen. Follow me on Twitter at the Stargazer, but in Gazer it's a 3 instead of an E, and then 2 R's at the end. You can find me on Instagram at Stargazer_sports. You can find me on TikTok at Stargazer.sports, and then you can find me on Facebook at Stargazer Sports Media. So thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us tonight.
Definitely. Make sure y'all continue to hit that like button on this video, whether you're seeing it now or you're seeing it later. Share it, smash it on both channels, Big Game James, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. All our platforms are live right now, so make sure you hit that like button on this video and share it around the world if you can, because we're talking some good football here. Let's get this victory. And my last thing, Star, what's your score prediction before we get out of here?
I think Cowboys win it, and I'm gonna say 30 to maybe 17.
30 to 17. I like that. I'm gonna go with 24. I'm gonna go 24-20. I think it's gonna be a close one.
Okay.
I think just the Rams, they just always seem to always give us little problems, and McVay, he just knows the schemas really well, and so I just feel like they stay in the game because he knows how to scheme, and we have problems with people know how to scheme us, and that's what I think is going to keep them in the game. But I think the mistake comes with Matthew Stafford. I think our defensive line takes over in the second half, and we kind of pull away in there. So.
All right.
That's our show, the Big Star Show. We thank y'all once again for jumping in here, man, and we make sure y'all tune in for us every Thursday at 7. Well, actually, it's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central, her time. And make sure you go ahead and, like I said, hit that like button. We'll be talking to you soon. Go follow her on Twitter because we'll be definitely talking on Twitter about this game. And you know what it is, the Big Star Show. We'll be talking to you soon. We out. Peace.